it is now time for us to bring to you today's Shakeup. Our scripture reading this morning is taken from Romans chapter 8, and I'm reading verse 1. It says, "There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit." Welcome to our Shakeup program. Shakeup is an interactive program that is hosted on WEFM every week from Monday to Friday at 10:30 in the morning. You can call to be a part of the program. You can call 457-9997. You can get us on WhatsApp, and you can also get us via the landline. Today's Shakeup program is being hosted by Mr. Augustine Ferdinand. And at this time, I will turn you over to the host. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Diane. Good morning to you. Good morning to the listeners of WEFM. Greetings to those of you who are also joining us via Star and Garifuna Radio. Many of you in the diaspora. I know elections in the United States, that is not just presidential election, but the Senate and also House of Representatives. Congratulations to President-elect Donald J. Trump. I know the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines also sent a congratulatory note officially to the President-elect. Tuesday was a night, and I know some of you listening, those of you who supported Kamala Harris, disappointed, and there are those of you who, of course, supported Donald Trump that is overjoyed. That is what democracy is about. People voting, and the people spoke. American citizens spoke. He won not just the Electoral College, but he also won the popular vote as well. And I know that even up to yesterday, where the results, the tally continued to go in. All the swing states he took, including Pennsylvania, Michigan, even Nevada, which was, I believe, a surprise to many. Even Nevada, which is normally going in favor of Democrats, also went to Donald Trump. So far, from what I've seen, he has 295, based on the preliminary results, 295 electoral college votes versus Kamala Harris 226, with him receiving so far over 72 million votes versus 67 million for Kamala Harris. Like I said, it shocked some. For others, it didn't shock them. Immigration is a very big issue in the United States across all ethnicities and demographic. I know also Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Starmer, sent his congratulatory note to President-elect Trump. Last thing I saw before this program this morning was that the Department of Justice is also dropping the case against him. So, and given that he's president-elect, he has some immunity. It's just a bit shocking that they did so even before him being sworn in. But that's America for you. As again, the election happened and the people indeed spoke. Also, greetings to those of you in Canada. Consul General Fitzhuggins, also good morning to you. Those of you in the United Kingdom and across the continent of Europe, as well as our students abroad in Taiwan, across the Caribbean region, and also those of you who are joining us on social media via WEFM 99.9 Facebook page. As usual, it's an interactive program. The number to call 457-9997. That's 457-9997. That's the number that you can call to get interactive with us here on WhatsApp, or you can call us on landline via that number. Today is the 11th. Today is the 7th of November, sorry. I know this morning at Wilson Hill New Testament Church, we have the funeral for the late Pastor George Frederick. I can imagine the crowd there, given the man he was. Towering figure, someone who many went for guidance, counseling, well known across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I know that many will turn out today at that funeral taking place at Wilson Hill, the Testament Church. I believe shortly the service will start thereabout. But I see we have a call coming in. Let's state this call. Good morning, caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, greetings. Good morning.
Good. Just a couple of things. If you want to discuss anything with me, or I could with you with regard to U.S. elections, right?
Okay.
I just want to say, temporary for the time being, anyway, that to be honest, I was a little surprised. You know what it is, right? You know, we're seeing over months where they were saying that the race is evenly balanced,
Yes.
right? So I thought it would have been more evenly balanced in the end, which it, in a way, really wasn't. And so I would say up until about 2 weeks ago, my opinion was, and I told several people, my opinion was 50-50. You know what I mean? I thought Harris had a much better chance than finally it worked out to be. But to be honest with you, like I said, in the last couple of weeks, what I did, which I should not have done, is that I was swayed to believe that Trump could not win. Yeah, but what I'm saying, up until 2 weeks ago,
Yes,
I thought he had a chance. But let me tell you why. Not because I support Trump, because I do not. Okay? But let me tell you why. I had seen and spoken to people, many people, who, and you know that you've seen it, others have seen it too, where black men in particular were kind of singled out, right, as not being strong enough supporters.
yes.
Don't get me wrong, majority support for Democrats, majority by far. But let me put it this way. I don't want to use exact numbers because we can go wrong here. But whereas women, black women, were about 96% or so, right, in support of the Democratic candidate, maybe about 20% of black men were not. And when Obama spoke about it, guys got upset. That he's chastising them, he criticizing them, you know, he embarrassing them. No, but he had a right to, because as black people, it's not only whites doing better, because they're not doing better, but as blacks, knowing our history and everything else that went on has gone on over there, because Trump and the Republicans are not going to do better for blacks. No, Democrats may not do great, but better than Republicans every day of the week, right? Okay, so we're seeing slipping support from black men, right? Still majority towards Democrats, but slipping. But there was also slipping support from Hispanics. And Hispanics today is an even larger group than blacks in the US. And what we saw, which I mean, I knew it was slipping, but I didn't know how much or to that extent it was slipping. It slipped quite a lot. And you cannot lose so much support from your base and still win. So all along, as I said, up until about 2 weeks ago, in my mind, it was close, really, really. And everybody was saying that. Sorry, most people were saying that. But
Well,
to be honest with
I
you,
think based on the results, we can still say it was close. Because if you look at the swing states in particular,
right.
they're close.
But she hasn't won any. This one states.
No,
Not
that is
one.
the point. That is the point.
Not one.
That is
Yeah.
the point.
Yeah.
That is the point. Because in the swing states, you'll see him 50%, 51%. And she'll be
Right.
like 48,
Right.
47%. So it's razor thin.
Okay.
But nonetheless, she didn't go over the edge in any of them.
Exactly.
And
So,
therefore, that is why I tell some persons, therefore, some who just simply say, it's because of racism, etc. But most of those states I know in particular, excluding Nevada, are
Yes.
manufacturing states.
yes.
And the message on the economy and protectionism may resonate with them. There are a lot of things at play. Plus, there's the cultural shift as well.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
But it is what it is. The people spoke.
It is. It is. You know what? And I don't like saying this because I can get flack for saying it, right? But sometimes, people get the government they deserve,
Yeah.
And if we get this government in, or not if, we have gotten it, and this country deserves it. And if they suffer, they deserve to suffer. Let us suffer, But the problem is the whole world is going to suffer as a result because of their stupidness. But that's it. All right? Take care, man.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Yeah, at the end of the day, the people spoke. So, yeah. It is what it is. The only difference between 2016 to now is that the Republicans also control the legislature, both the Senate and Congress as well. One of the takeaways, though, and the good brother said it there, and anyone looking at all the results across the board, is that you had a good bit of persons who, in the past, supported the Democrats, including Latinos and blacks, who stayed home. That is the result of persons staying home. I know some persons stay home and they say, well, all right, maybe Kamala already has this, so I ain't going. And there are those who stay home for whatever grievance may have, and they just want to punish the person, or they just can't be bothered in going. What is it? What happens when you stay home? When you stay home, then you wake up the next morning regretting that you stayed home. So there's a lesson there that you regret, because now you can't go and say, boy, let me go to the polls and do anything. The poll already closed. You now have to live with the decision. In this case, for the next 4 years. So that's a lesson there that one can take away from that election, where persons, also blacks and other Latinos, stayed home. But anyways, here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we are in the month of November, and I know persons are already looking forward to December, Christmas. I just want to take this opportunity as well to congratulate the young man from JP Eustace Secondary School, who came out on top for the Lions Club public speaking competition. That also occurred on Tuesday as well. Raj, I think is his name. Yes, Raj, who came out on top in the public speaking competition held. One of the things I often tell persons this, that we must all be proud when non-traditional schools, I mean, yes, I went to the grammar school, etc., but must always be proud when, and happy when non-traditional schools come out on top in these sort of events. So Raj came out on top I also recognize that Sandy Bay Secondary School was a finalist in the competition as well. And congratulations to her and the staff who helped her. But he did well. He did pretty well. And he, of course, won a few prizes, including, I understand, $4,000 on a Samsung Galaxy phone. In second position, also Mountain View Adventist Academy, Miss Lynch, who also did well. And I had Mr. Cummins from the St. Martin's Secondary School. But again, on top was the young man from JP Eustace Memorial, Raj Bulls, who, of course, came out on top, winning this year's public speaking competition. Congratulations to him, his parents. I am quite sure they helped staff or teacher at JP Eustace Secondary School. So, yeah, and this goes to show that the non-traditional schools, even outside of this, including CSEC results and the like, they continue to come out and do well. And it speaks good about, the education revolution that is continuing. So normally, sometimes we look at the non-traditional schools in a particular light, but I have seen over a period of time, looking at CSEC results as well, and other competitions like this, where they continue to advance and excel. So kudos to him. And I'm quite sure this will serve as an inspiration to others from the school and other schools, Bishop College, Intermediate, High, Bookman, Secondary, etc., where they too will, say that, okay, all right, I can do this. So yeah, kudos to him as well. But today's program, ladies and gentlemen, I want to touch on something I haven't touched on a while. And that is citizenship by investment program. Because of recent, we heard the leader of the opposition, the president of the NDP, Godwin Friday, at the convention they had, or the wake, whichever one you want to call it, at Petty Bodell Plain Field, where he proclaimed and reaffirmed the NDP's support in pursuing citizenship by investment program. The citizenship by investment program, as exists in St. Kitts, as exists in Dominica, in St. Lucia, and Grenada, is one where the state offers or sell a passport to a willing buyer anywhere around the world. Oh yes, it's just that. Just as how you can go on eBay or Amazon and purchase a product, an Iranian, Pakistani, Chinese, anywhere around the world can simply call up or email the Citizenship by Investment Unit in any of these countries and say, look, I am willing to buy a passport and I also have a family of 5. I want a special deal. If you have a family of 5, you may say, I want a special deal for the family package. And they offer you a particular rate. The Citizenship by Investment Unit will simply tell them, well, okay, send me your documents. That document will also reveal, bank statement, your ID, of course, or whatever. And within a month, 3 months max, transaction occur and you get a passport via FedEx. I kid you not. You could research it for yourself. That's the process in summary. So the NDP reaffirmed their support for this citizenship by investment program with the selling of passports. Their argument is that, hey, other countries are doing it. Why shouldn't we? They're making money. Therefore, we should get involved in this program. That's the NDP's argument in pursuing that particular policy. But as of late, since last year and year before, these programs also come under strict scrutiny. The argument of the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines is that passports should not be sold as a commodity because it also enables you to become a citizen of the country. And once you become a citizen of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you can also run for high office. That's more or less in sum the argument of the government. It should not be for sale. It should not be for sale. It is not a commodity. And it also makes you a citizen of St. Vincent and Grenadines, which affords you the right to run for high office. The NDP sees things differently. A passport could also be a commodity for sale. Well, like I said, as of late, last year, year before, the citizenship by investment programs in the region and even elsewhere, Malta, Cyprus, has come under great scrutiny from the European Union, from the United States of America. And I couldn't help but of this week realize that in St. Kitts is the first OECS country, or the first country in the Caribbean, as a matter of fact, since 1984, that introduced this particular program in the selling of passports. Also want to challenge persons by doing your own research on this one. The other argument of the NDP is that if we sell passports, we won't have to borrow money. That is the other argument they make. But again, I just said, St. Kitts introduced this program since 1984. Anyone can research this. You have the internet, you have a smartphone, and you can type in St. Kitts and Nevis, most indebted country in the world, 2012. St. Kitts' debt to GDP at the time was over 200% at that time. But they were selling passports, not so. But they were regarded as one of the most indebted countries in the world and had to go on an IMF structural adjustment program. Mind you, again, the NDP says that you need to sell passports so we don't borrow. But yet, St. Kitts and Nevis, who first went into this thing since 1984, in 2012 became one of the most indebted countries in the world with a debt to GDP of over 200%. Anyways, fast forward. Similar to with Dominica. Dominica sells passport, and currently they have a debt to GDP of over 100%. Food for thought. But yet the NDP will tell you that if we sell passports, we don't have to borrow. And just before I fast forward on that again, during the pandemic, all the OECS countries borrowed extensively during the pandemic. You hear me? All, including St. Kitts and Nevis, all OECS countries, including those selling passports, borrowed extensively because of the economic situation then. But again, remind me, the NDP says that what? We must sell the passports so that we don't what? Borrow. All right. Fast forward now. And I'm reading here October, this is from Immigration Daily. This platform normally keep persons up to date on what's happening in the migration world. It's more like a Migration Insider news outlet. It says here, Prime Minister Drew admits St. Kitts risk losing EU access before reforms and decimated CBI revenues. I repeat that again. Prime Minister Drew admits St. Kitts risk losing European Union access before reforms and decimated CBI revenues. This was last month, mind you. During the national address, St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew revealed a stark 60% decline in the nation's citizenship by investment revenue. Prime Minister admitted that his administration's policy reforms triggered a 60% plummet in CBI application volumes and revenue compared to figures during Team Unity administration era. Now, you may ask, what are some of these reforms that triggered such a drastic decline? One of the things the European Union said to these countries in the OECS pursuing the sale of passport is that, look, if you don't have these reforms, we are going to basically cut visa-free access to Europe. These reforms, of course, includes strengthened, rigorous process of transparency and vetting of applicants. That is something that people who have a lot to hide don't like, because the sole purpose in the first place of getting a passport is because they have a lot to hide. Now, you're telling me that you're going to increase scrutiny on my application? So obviously, not many will be willing to apply to buy a passport. And thus in St. Kitts and Nevis, they experience a significant decline in revenue. So that's happening in St. Kitts and Nevis. But while that's happening in St. Kitts and Nevis, you have the opposition here in St. Vincent and Grenadines telling you that we need to sell passports so that we can make billions of dollars. And mind you, is out of that, he's talking about bonus, this, that, and the other. And also, you won't have to borrow money. Again, in St. Kitts and Nevis, in Dominica, in Grenada, in St. Lucia, they continue to borrow. Dominica has a debt to GDP of over 100%. But the opposition will like you to think that with the selling of passports, we won't have to borrow money, they'll have money for development bank and do all sort of other things. But the reality, ladies and gentlemen, says otherwise. The reality, ladies and gentlemen, says otherwise. So it's now 1 minute past the hour of 11 o'clock. We'll take a short commercial break, and surely after the break, we continue with this discussion.
The flavor nice, it's locally made. Affordable price, Lord, up to $3 retail. When you see we line it, when you got a white case, show me what you like it. It's cigarette from Empire, Holdings Limited. It's cigarette from Empire, Holdings Limited. With over 60 years experience, hold the best tobacco, best ingredients. Yeah. This is your boy Lou to say, support local, buy your cigarettes from Empire Holdings Limited. 10 cigarettes in a pack for up to $3 retail. Remember, smoking is not for minors.
Yes, sir.
Our industry relies on all of us to play our part. We take pride in showcasing our beautiful island, our craft, our cuisine, and our warm Vincentian hospitality.
Each of us play a crucial role in showcasing our vibrant tourism industry. We can create spaces where visitors can unwind, connect with nature, and embrace tranquility of our beautiful surroundings.
We need everyone on board to help us create an exceptional experience for our guests.
Join us at our National Tourism Community Consultations as we shape the future of tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It's everyone's business, yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it.
That could have been you. An accident that could have been avoided because your tires had almost no grip on the road. Safety is a factor that should never be overlooked when it comes to your car or whatever you drive. SVG Tire Sales and Services in Falls Avenue and in Arnisvale carries a wide selection of quality new tires to fit any car, truck, minibus, or SUV, so you can experience a comfortable and safe commute every time. We are agents for the world's most reliable brands on and off the road, including Kenda Tires, the king of the mountain, Cooper Tires, king of the road and track, Osto, the king of the outback, and High Fly, the king of the Asian highway. We also carry new tires for light or heavy-duty trucks from MRF, High Fly, and Linglong. A reliable set of new tires keep you, your passengers, and your payload always in the safe lane. So when you need quality tires with reliability at 100%, choose SVG Tire Sales and Services in Kingstown, 457-1467, or in Arnisvale, 456-6444. SVG Tire Sales and Services. Performance and reliability proven when the rubber meets the road.
Do you spin a dial to make a call on your rotary phone from the 60s?
No.
Are you driving an unreliable and risky automobile made in the 1900s?
Of course not.
Are you still fiddling with an antenna to get good signal on your black and white television from the 20s?
Really?
Then why are you still stuck in the past, sitting on an unintelligent 1930s design toilet? That's right, 1930s design. What does your bathroom say about you? Don't get left behind. The future is now. Be smart. Be progressive. Get yourself a smart toilet seat or a complete toilet today. You can visit the My Smart Toilet Seat office on the 3rd floor of the Blue Corner building opposite the old Anglican School on Bay Street. Our smart toilets are also available throughout St. Vincent at retail outlets with the orange flags. For more information, you can call us at 457-1703 or visit our website, justwashit.vc.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
It's time for Shakeup on WEFM 99.9.
All right, we are back with our Shakeup program right here on WEFM. Remember that Shakeup is an interactive program, so you can call to be a part of the program using the number 457-9997. And with that number, you can get us on WhatsApp and you can get us on the landline. Okay, I'm going to turn you back over to Mr. Ferdinand.
Thank you very much, Diane.
It's a legal way to circumvent visa controls that nations set up to screen people coming into their country. But it's also an opportunity for shady characters to mask their true identity and avoid suspicion as they travel around the globe.
You hear that? It's also a way to do what? Mask your true identity and circumvent your way around the world. Again, persons buy these passports mainly so that they could get into Europe. And that is what the European Union realized. Especially where an Iranian may need a visa, or someone from Afghanistan, or Pakistan, or Syria will need a visa to enter into any European Union country. But if they could buy a Lucian passport, a Dominican passport, a Haitian passport, or Grenadian passport, they can come off as a Grenadian, a Lucian, a Dominican, and Haitian, and therefore be able to enter into Europe. That's the whole thing, you know. So the European Union realized, okay, so even though we have visa requirement for these persons to enter into our space. They buy your passports and come off as citizens in your country and then come into our space. No. We can't allow that. And that is what again comes down, shady characters trying to circumvent the rules. Hence, these countries are coming under pressure with these programs. But mind you, the NDP is still coming to tell you that, oh boy, we are going to pursue this nonetheless, despite the dangers of the program, the implications of the program, the international backlash of the program. They don't care about that. All they care about is the money. Well, the money also declining. So how can you tell me that despite these countries also borrowing money, that despite the revenue also from the sale of passport declining, that despite the increased pressure from European Union, other bodies and countries, because of these programs, that you still want to pursue it nonetheless? That sound like madness? Not so? That sound like madness to you? But anyways, I'll continue. It goes on to say that Prime Minister Drew of St. Kitts indicated that upon taking office on August 2022, the Federation faced significant international pressure over its citizenship by investment practices. He said St. Kitts and Nevis was on the brink of losing that precious visa-free access to the European Union and the United Kingdom. And if his administration did not take bold, immediate action, they would have lost that privilege. But don't worry, there's more. In St. Kitts and Nevis, and this is a case ongoing, the RICO case, where they filed a lawsuit against the government of St. Kitts over a particular project falling under the citizenship by investment program. It goes on to say Drew's administration launched a comprehensive investigation into the CBI program in October 2022, which includes making underselling practices criminal offense, because they had a lot of underselling that were taking place. But I'll go more into that. There's another one. The headline, the CBI market existential risk. This is August this year, also from Migration Insider website. The citizenship by investment program is under scrutiny and mounting challenges due to scandals, legal disputes, and increasingly regulatory scrutiny. The wave of scandals, accusations of corruption, misuse of funds, and legal challenges have severely undermined the industry's reputation, raising questions about its long-term sustainability. So we hear the words vulnerability, and now raising questions about its long-term sustainability. Revenue decline, scandals, lawsuits. But hey, the NDP saying, hey, don't study that. Don't listen to these things. Close your eyes when you see these things, because all you have to think about is the money. That's what the NDP hoping. All you have to think about is the money. But again, what is happening in the international arena and in the region is telling you that this program is something that we must stay far from. We talk about vulnerability. The Minister of Finance sometime in Parliament mentioned it. I hear talk about reduced revenue by 60% in St. Kitts. Again, something that the Minister of Finance mentioned in Parliament. And I'll play the recording so that you can hear again. You know, sometimes when you look back at these things, it's like seeing into the future. It's like seeing into the future because the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines continue to warn not just Vincentians, but even the NDP that this program that you want to embark on is dangerous. It is not sustainable. And citizenship should not be for sale. Listen to the Minister of Finance.
I have here an IMF working paper entitled Too Much of a Good Thing? Prudent Management of Inflows under Citizenship by Investment, under Economic Citizenship Programs. It's dated May 2015. And they talk about, as it says, how to prudently manage the inflows. But it introduces a very interesting concept throughout the document. Something called the very high sudden stop risk. I'll read it in context. Program inflows may be subject to a very high sudden stop risk related to the rapid changes in advanced countries' immigration policies. What is a sudden stop risk? The IMF is saying at any moment, they can pull the rug out from under you with the citizenship by investment thing. There is a risk, a very high risk of a sudden stop in your CBI inflow. So says the IMF. Finally, if not administered with due diligence, economic citizenship programs can lead to security breaches, facilitate illicit activities such as tax evasion and money laundering, raising significant concerns for the international community and exposing the host jurisdiction to harmful reputational risks. That's what they say on page 3. They return on pages 9 and 10. Inflows under these programs are potentially volatile and particularly vulnerable to sudden stop risks. There's that term again. Exacerbating, not curing, as your magic wand proposes, exacerbating macroeconomic vulnerability in small states.
You hear that? That is the Minister of Finance in Parliament quoting from an IMF document, stating that one of the dangers about this thing is a sudden stop risk. In that any time, the European Union can say, hey, all of your countries selling this passport, your citizens will not require visa. Now, the moment that happens, the people who would normally buy the passport in order to get into the European Union visa-free would no longer buy. And what does that mean? The whole program come to an end. Because these countries will no longer have the privilege of their citizens going into the European Union without a visa. Sudden stop risk. So before, your citizens enjoying going into any European Union country without a visa. Now they require a visa, nobody buying the passport. No revenue. That's what the Minister of Finance basically talk about there, sudden stop risk. Increasing the vulnerability. So you have the NDP telling you, oh boy, this thing is like a gold mine. That's what they're telling you now. This thing is like a gold mine. But while they're trying to convince you that this thing is like a gold mine, You haven't St. Kitts already reduced revenue of 60%. You have the threat of being blacklisted. You have the threat of citizens of these countries no longer enjoying visa-free access into Europe. And these countries also, despite the NDP trying to sell this thing like a real gold mine, also borrowing money. Now, if you're borrowing money, how is this thing a gold mine? That gotta be strange. But there's more. Now, I know some of you may say, boy, no wonder, because anyway, her corruption, bucket show the NDP must be there. The other threat and danger. Again, the scandals. Yeah, scandals. Again, I'm reading from Investor Migration. It's a wave of scandals, accusations of corruption, misuse of funds, and legal challenges have severely undermined the industry's reputation, raising questions about its long-term sustainability. It goes on to say, for example, in St. Kitts, the RICO case, where they filed a lawsuit against the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, where the lawsuit alleged that nefarious actors exploited the CBI program for money laundering, tax evasion, and other illicit activities. The case underscores the vulnerabilities within the CBI framework, particularly concerning due diligence and applicant screening. Because the money is so sweet, you turn a blind eye to the screening. Okay, that person may look too genuine, but the money is so sweet that, you turn a blind eye to it. That is what they're saying here now. With the RICO case, a litigation in St. Kitts against the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis, that is in court in the United States, where the lawsuit alleged that nefarious actors exploited the CBI program for money laundering, tax evasion, and other illicit activities. But you think that is it? There's even more. Cyprus. Once considered a prestigious offering, the Cyprus CBI program became synonymous with risk, where in 2020 an undercover investigation by Al Jazeera exposed how the program was being misused by criminals and politically exposed persons to acquire EU citizenship. The investigation revealed that the intermediaries, now, to tell you about intermediaries, let me put it in short. So you're having St. Kitts, St. Lucia, Dominica, and Grenada citizenship by investment units. And these units are responsible for the screening of applicants and also the selling of passports to willing buyers anywhere around the world. The intermediary, however, is a middleman or a company in China. This is another homework for you. When you research the amount of applicants for these passports in the Caribbean, a bulk of them normally come from China, Lebanon, or even Russia. So you have this citizenship by investment unit. Their task in the screening of the applicant for the passport and also selling of the passport. But they have a middleman in China or a company in China that seek out potential buyers. That is how the system works. So it's not the citizenship by investment unit seeking out the potential buyers. You have a middleman in China now whose task is looking around the world and scanning to see who wants a passport to buy. Now here the sweet part. Let's say they've found a potential purchaser from Pakistan. And the passport is what? $200,000. The Pakistani, hypothetically in this case, may not be the best of characters. But hey, he has a lot of money. So the middleman in China will refer that applicant to the citizenship by investment unit in one of these Caribbean countries. But because he, the middleman, know that this person is of the best character, will take a little more money under the cut because he have to get his cut too, you know. This company in China have to get their cut too, out of the whole scheme. That is why it's called a scheme, you know, because it's a real scheme. And then the person doing the screening also in the citizenship by investment unit may realize, well, this person is really of the best character, but hey, a lot of money. So they to take their cut, a little 30,000 US on the side to overlook the screening. And right there, the man in Pakistan waiting for FedEx to get a passport to now come off as a CARICOM citizen. That's the process. It goes on. This scandal led to severe repercussions, including government revoking several citizenships and suspending Cyprus CBI program. This reminds me of St. Lucia. Under the Chastity government, they revoked about 12 passports or citizenship for persons who bought the passport because of a similar situation. It goes on. Vanuatu and the loss of EU Schengen visa privileges. The European Union suspension of visa-free travel for Vanuatu passport holders in 2022 resulted in a significant blow to the country's citizenship by investment program. Due to diligent processes used to persons with questionable backgrounds. Again, similar to with St. Lucia and Rico. The lawsuit which accuses St. Lucia CBI program of being involved in corruption and other illicit activities has resulted in eroded trust in the CBI market. The implications of St. Lucia alleged scandal extend beyond the Caribbean, intensifying fears of de-risking. You know what de-risking means? You normally hear this fancy word about corresponding banking relations. Simply put, we normally have bankers inventory here. Many of you listening also, you like to purchase things online, Amazon, you engage in trade globally. We have businesses also engage in trade, government also engage in trade. But in order for the bank, whether in the United Kingdom or the company in the United Kingdom to get the money, you may have a corresponding bank in the United States. Basically, that bank helps to transfer that money to the company in another part of the world. And similarly too, if you want to receive money here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, it comes through the corresponding bank, then comes through the bank here in the region. Now the risking is where that corresponding bank in the US or England say, you know what? Too much nonsense happening from this particular country that is exposing my bank to a lot of risk. And the risking means that the bank simply cut its services to that country. Now, this is the sweet part. When that corresponding bank cuts that service, how are not you going to engage in trade internationally? How are you going to get money also to you? But let me take this call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Shakeup.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Mr. Ferdinand.
Good morning.
Yeah, I just want to make one plug.
Yes.
One plug. This morning, I listened to Scoop this morning with Dr. Richard Byron Cox. I need everybody who's listening to your radio station now to go and take a look at that program or listen to it. Extremely important. I think all Vincentian need to listen to that program. Repeat that program this morning. It was fantastic, informational. It touched on every subject: American politics, St. Vincent politics. So that's my take. I need people to go back on Facebook and look at it. All right. That's a plug for that program this morning. Great program. All right. Thank you.
All right then. So that is de-risking. De-risking, therefore, affects your ability to trade as a country, as a company, or even to simply receive money, because you also have to deal with remittances as well. And where you have de-risking, you won't be able to receive money. So that is also the great risk. And there are many other, including breach of Chinese national law. Another significant issue facing the CBI market is the sale of passports to Chinese citizens. You hear that? That is why the NDP talking about one China policy, because a bulk of the buyers also comes from China. Now, with all these issues, the NDP is still saying that St. Vincent and Grenadines should sell passports. And you know, what is interesting about it is that they didn't even say in a benchmark, you know. It's like a fire sale. They're talking about, well, they could sell 50,000 passports for all the concerned. I want you to listen to Leacock. Listen to Leacock.
The Citizenship by Investment Program is a good program.
Mm-hmm.
And I go back to the text to make the point. This program exists in the Caribbean, in St. Kitts, first of all, which started in 1984. St. Kitts Board has, by the time that it has brought this program into being, issued over 10,773 applicants have got this program out of St. Kitts, you know. You understand what I'm saying? Now, what does it mean for that? It means in St. Kitts, for a person to have really got citizenship, they would have had to spend up to $250,000.
And that's US.
US. Mm-hmm. Let's call it $500,000. So if 10,000 people have got citizenship in St. Kitts between 1984 and today, it means, in rough mathematics terms, St. Kitts have owned over $5 billion. Billion with a B. They're richer than Trump. They've owned over $5 billion from this program. You understand? Today, in Grenada, in St. Lucia, in Dominica, they are all earning close to $500 million a year out of this program. Real money.
Mm-hmm. Real money. Now, the interesting thing about it is that at the time, you had, when Leacock was talking, just 10,000 thereabout persons who bought Kittitian passports, who became overnight citizens of St. Kitts. But today, St. Kitts, with a population of just about 50,000 people, has issued over 36,700 passports. Let me repeat that again. St. Kitts and Nevis, of just over 50,000 people, are about 47,000 people, because it's not even 50,000. They have about 47,000 citizens in St. Kitts. They have issued over 36,700 passports, meaning that overnight, these 36,700 people became Kittitians. In other words, the state of St. Kitts almost issue more than its own population. And the rate they go in, if they continue, they'll reach there. And Likak and the NDP doesn't see a problem with this. We have a population of about 106,000 people. The NDP has no problem issuing 200,000. Think about that. Where anybody around the world can overnight, based on what the NDP is saying, can become a citizen. So whether it is 20,000 Chinese who apply for citizenship by buying a passport, they have no problem with that. And again, citizenship gives you the rights and privilege also of running for office, buying land here, there, and everywhere. You go sleep tonight, vacant property next to you tomorrow morning, you could see a 3-story apartment owned by a Chinese. But then he come tell you, I'm of Vincentian. Hello, look, my passport right here. I have rights just as you do. And the NDP sees nothing wrong with that. But put that aside. Again, the risk, money laundering, fraud, corruption, the risking, losing corresponding banking relations, losing visa privileges to the EU. The NDP sees nothing wrong with that. And you know, it's not that the NDP don't know, you know. That is the other part that is quite mind-boggling. It's not that they don't know about these issues. They know. But that tells you how much they don't like you, the people of this country, and don't care about you, the people of this country, and don't care about the country's reputation. Because one would think that knowing all these issues, having a grasp of these issues, where your citizens can lose visa access, where your country can lose corresponding banking relations, where there's increased risk of corruption, that these things would be signs to stay far. But like I said, they don't care. And you could listen comments also, you know. You could listen comments who also said it, that the people who actually engage and involved in this thing are crooks. That is the chairman of the NDP, you know. Again, I read for you from Migration Insider. I go through the process with you. The risk involved. St. Kitts and Nevis, you hear Leacock talking about billions with a B. Well, St. Kitts and Nevis, 60% decline in revenue. They also borrowed money. St. Lucia borrowed money. Dominica debt to GDP is over 100%. Grenada other day, last month, I showed the carried a news item here. It's telling you that teachers, you have relief teachers waiting on the pay. But hey, NDP telling you that with this thing, boy, billions with a B. Listen to Daniel Cummins.
The problem is some people know that these are crooks, but they slip them through because the perks are great. When people have money that is not clean and they want to get into the CBI, the temptation is there for those in authority to override the screening.
But that argument you're using is an argument against the program.
No, it's not against the program. It's against those who are greedy and corrupt.
Now tell me. Can we play it again for you? That is the chairman of the NDP now. Again, I tell you, it's not that they don't know, you know. Basically, they're saying, look, hey, yeah, we know that you have fraudsters and things and people with criminal background and all kind of nefarious identity will engage in this sort of program, but hey, we don't care because the money. Let me play it again.
The problem is some people know that these are crooks, but they slip them through because the perks are great. When people have money that is not clean and they want to get into the CBI, the temptation is there for those in authority to override the screening.
You hear that? To override the screening, basically, just as I was saying before, turn a blind eye. Okay, that person is of bad character. I ain't seen nothing, man. Give me a nice $20,000 for me not to see. I ain't seen nothing. Turn a blind eye to that. He said when they have money, that what? That ain't what? Clean? What I mean? What I mean? I tell you. Greetings, caller. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Shakeup.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. You see, our foreparents in Africa sold out their people. They sold out Africa. And now their descendants who inherited these islands are in the process of selling out these islands. If China really wants Grenada, it's up for grabs. It could just simple purchase 50,000 citizen passports. And that's that.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, buy up land in Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
And let people go there, okay, look, live there for a certain time, make sure you can vote.
Yep.
And that's that.
That's that.
You make the same mistake as our foreparents did in Africa. That's what we're doing right now. And these geniuses only seeing dollars. They're not seeing the aftermath.
They don't care about that.
You know?
They don't care whether you now would have to apply for visa. They don't care about that. Because
they would find out the future generations will find out.
Because their thing is
what these generations
the reason why they don't care. If by some error in the people's decision that they're elected to govern, they'll have diplomatic passport and they could enter any EU country, UK, America. They won't have to go through all the struggle that the ordinary man and woman would have to go through. So they don't care about that.
So they only care about short-term gain.
And their own benefit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Typical. Thank you. Typical NDP. They don't care about you. They don't care about development. Yeah, the NDP does talk about education. You know, I was speaking to someone early this week, and I challenged them to look in any of NDP's manifesto. See if they find the word scholarship and housing. Think they care about that? Any of the manifesto, 2020, 2015, 2010, 2005, 2001. See if you see any of that. Think they care about that? Government just sort of awarded 2,000 tuition scholarships recently at the National Rally at the Park, 104 national scholarships. You think NDP care about that? Yeah. There are hundreds of young people graduating in TVET skill I can simply go across Camden Park Technical Institute with my vehicle and get an alignment as the students continue to train in automotive repair. You think anybody care about that? People talking about housing and housing as a right. You think anybody care about that? Government talking about building modern ports so that we can export more and create more jobs. You think anybody care about that? You have more flights coming. Look, tourist season start to see a different cruise ship today than yesterday. You think anybody care about that? All they care about, boy, is how fast we could make a quick money. That's all they care about, you know, how fast can we make a quick buck? You hear how the cock said the word billions with a B? As I said, St. Kitts has a population of 47. If this isn't alarming enough, a population of 47,000 people, but already issued over 36,000, well, actually close to 40,000 passports. We have 40,000 persons who don't know what St. Kitts is about, the heritage, the culture. They ain't even must know the name of the prime minister to begin with, or the national flag. But they don't turn Kittitians overnight. Can you imagine that? Simply by receiving a passport in a FedEx package. And some people don't see what's wrong with that. They gotta be mad. And make it worse. You hear the chairman of the NDP telling that people who are attracted to this thing, people who engage in this thing, they corrupt. Let me say so as the chairman of the NDP, Daniel Cummins, says so. I play it again for you to hear.
The problem is some people know that these are crooks, but they slip them through because the perks are great.
What he say? Some people know what? Some people know what? Some people know that what? They are what? Crooks. But the perks, the money is great.
The problem is some people know that these are crooks, but they slip them through because the perks are great. When people have money that is not clean and they want to get into the CBI, the temptation is there for those in authority to override the screening.
But that argument you're using is an argument against the program.
No, it's not against the program. It's against those who are greedy and corrupt.
His brain wasn't working. Bing and all can see clearly. There's an argument to make it against the program. You telling me, you're the chairman of the NDP telling me that, look, people who engage in this thing are crooks. They're greedy. They're corrupt. But you're telling me, no, this isn't an argument against the program. Your brain ain't working. But the leader of the opposition, despite them doing all these things, reaffirm the position that, hey, vote for me and I'll sell as much passports as I want to make as much money as I want. Vote for me so that we can sell how many passports we want to make how much money as we want. And he will tell you it's for the benefit of the people. He won't tell you the price is losing corresponding banking relations, coming under significant scrutiny. He won't tell you that. All he'll tell you is ignore those things. Just look at the money. Well, the cox billions with a B. But like I said, if this thing in selling off passports was the savior and preventing you from borrowing money and making all this and that money, then why during the pandemic you had these very same countries borrowing a lot of money? Answer me that now. If this thing was making a lot of money to prevent countries from borrowing, Why is Dominica's debt to GDP over 100%? If this thing was making a lot of money to prevent countries from borrowing a lot of money, why the modern port in Antigua, they borrow money from the Chinese to also construct the port? Help me understand it now. Why during the pandemic, when a lot of countries needed money to give support and keep the economy going, why all of these countries were selling passports also borrow extensively? Something I don't know. The NDP telling you that we could sell passports and we fix all the roads and light all the playing fields and hard courts and have development bank and we have bonuses and continued increase in salaries. And boy, it's like a whole Christmas bag of promises, empty promises. It's like the folks who listen to Trump and where Trump said that vote for me and the middle class will be better off. Well, yeah. That's why the Republican Party and the NDP, their sister parties, Let me take this call. Greetings, caller.
Mr. Ferdinand,
Yes,
you
greetings.
realize if things continue along this line, 50 years from now, the Windward Islands wouldn't look at all like it does today. Probably the whole of the Caribbean won't look like it does today. You check it. You're a young person, I won't be around to see it, but you will be there. And we're beginning to wish all of you luck.
No, but in all seriousness, St. Kitts has a population of 47,000 and you almost issue 40,000 passports. This is facts.
I heard you.
Facts. And you have
probably pure Chinese will be all over the Caribbean by then.
Lord,
at one time, they kind of had a lot of them in Trinidad.
Yes.
And then whatever happened, they started moving out. But they'll be back. All those Chinese going be all over the Caribbean again. I got on weird.
All right then. Thank you. Because once you have that passport, you're a citizen. You can live here, buy land here, business, whatever, run for office, and vote too. You're a citizen. Hey, I have rights just as you. Yeah, you born here, I bought it, but I have the same rights as you do. And some people actually think that is right and that makes sense. You could take as however long you want to think about that, I had this conversation with a friend from one of the countries, and funny enough, he said they didn't think about that. As a matter of fact, he had to call someone over the phone at the unit to ask whether the person buying the passport would have the same rights as he do. They do. They're a citizen. Yeah, you born here, you know the culture, you eat here, you live here. They bought it. And they can buy the same land you're interested in. And that's the other thing too. Especially those of you already saying that the price of land high. When a man with 7 figures buy a passport and he can buy cheap lots of land in one and jack up the price. You serious problems you're talking about there now. Just now you won't be able to buy your land in your own country. I mean, these are things I have to think about, You won't be able to buy land in your own country. And the NDP sees nothing wrong about that. Nothing wrong at all about that. And they're hoping that you also won't see nothing wrong about it. They're hoping that all you can focus on, will cops again, billions with a B. That's all. They're hoping that is all you can focus on, billions with a B. Don't think about the repercussions, the consequences. They're just hoping you look at that. But like I said, the pandemic period, these countries also borrow money. I wanted to listen to this recording with a guest who was on Jerry George's program, Jerry George, who passed away, talking about the same thing.
Every single one of these countries involved in the program talk about how successful it is. They even go as far as to say the IMF endorses, for want of a better word, this program. But yet still in a time of crisis as we are in now, not one of these CBI prime ministers have come forward and say, we have $100 in the CBI fund that we are going to be putting into management of COVID-19. Not one. They talk about going into the NRS money. So you're not hearing anything about the CBI. Where is it? This is supposed to be the most successful program that the region has ever run. Where is the money?
Good question. You hear that? In a time of great need, during the pandemic, the answer, we have CBI money to help the people or to do things and keep the economy afloat. You're borrowed. But yet the NDP telling you that if you sell passport, we won't have to borrow anymore as a country. Or we could use the money to fix roads and light all the playing fields and all other things and reduce taxes because we could use passport money to make up shortfall. But yet, St. Kitts already experiencing 60% decline in revenue. So the NDP saying, hey, we could reduce the tax, reduce the VAT, make up the shortfall with passport money. But how are you going to make up the shortfall with passport money if the revenue declining? Now, even the worst part. And this is where reasoning is important. You already have St. Kitts, Dominica, St. Lucia, and Grenada. 4 countries selling passports already. The lowest price is $50,000 thereabout. Let's say for argument's sake, NDP, by some irresponsibility on the part of the people, gains office, I want to sell passport. They'll be competing with these countries, you know. Yeah. And where the price is already at $50,000 on 100,000. So the question you have to ask now, to compete, how much are you going to sell at? You can't say you're going to sell at 100,000 because the same passport, same passport you're selling. I remember a time in, I think it was 2019, I saw Antigua saying, buy one and get the other one at discount. And like I tell you, it's like any product, you know, that's how this passport thing. Buy one and get the other one at 50% discount. And your family rates too. Yeah, man. And remember, liquor condemns the billions with a B. Now imagine if you're selling at $50,000 or $20,000, how much you have to sell to make billions? We have a population of 106,000. Are you comfortable having 50,000 of your citizens not having one single tie to your country? Hello? Are you comfortable that at least 50,000 persons could be Chinese or Afghan or Pakistani? Huh? Hello? Having the same rights as you do? Being eligible to buy the same land as you do? Or we won't be able to buy land at all in your own country, but they can? because they have the means to do so more than you do. Because after all, the 7 figures. Hello? Huh? The NDP is hoping that you don't think about these things, you know. Are you comfortable waking up one morning and see Iranian, who is now Vincent Chan, engage in financing terrorism? That happened with 3 Iranian supporters, Kitishan passport, you know. One morning, the citizens wake up and see 3 men looking like Iranian, say yes, Kitishan. Engage in financing terrorism. Huh? Would you be comfortable with that? Hmm? After all, NDP talk about one China policy. Maybe the whole idea is, hey, one China policy, strengthen relations. St. Vincent is now open to Chinese flooding the gates. Would you be comfortable with that? We already see that we need to have more local businesses. A man is now a Vincent Chan, but he's Chinese. What stops him? Hello? These are the things that you have to think about. Serious consequences. Politics is not a branch of the entertainment industry. Neither governance. That you have to think about. Someone said, you have a political machinery that cannot get the Public Accounts Committee up and running properly. Do you expect them to manage such a complex scheme, citizenship by investment? That is a very good question, you know. Talking about that, I have the recording here now. Where the leader of the opposition since February this year, February 24th, February this year, 2024, admitted that he went to Trinidad to learn how to operate and manage and effectively call a Public Accounts Committee. When will be? November? You don't believe me? I'm going to play it right here for you.
First of all, let me just say this is a quick roundup about some of the things that I've been doing, because in the last couple of weeks I've been very busy. I've been abroad for a couple of occasions to the UK for a conference I reported on here. And last week I was in Trinidad for a meeting of public accounts committees. That is the other leaders of opposition who generally chair these committees from other countries in the region, Commonwealth countries, in the opposition. But of course, we know what the history and the backdrop of that. I'm always keen to learn about the functioning of Public Accounts Committee, the way in which we here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines ought to make them function. We have made a kind of agreement amongst us, the representatives from those countries, to get the support from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association to make sure that we have what it takes to get these committees up and running in the Commonwealth. There must be best practices, and some of the countries in the region, Jamaica, Trinidad, Belize, they have been doing, having these committees working at various levels. But we have to make sure that the standards that are set for the Commonwealth, and certainly the ones for the Caribbean, that they are maintained throughout. The speaker, as I mentioned some time ago, and in the House, the Speaker has taken an interest in it herself, for various reasons, and has written to me and said that as far as she's concerned, there are no obstacles in the way of having these meetings, and that the rules can be, whatever rules there are, we can apply.
That's since February, though. Parliament met how many times, committees meet how many times. The opposition tell you he went to Trinidad to learn how to have a Public Accounts Committee operational. We almost reached Christmas. It's just like how the students still waiting on the $100,000. He went to Trinidad, he learned, and we had any convening of the Public Accounts Committee yet? But the person comment here is asking a very pertinent thing. If you can't, they said this, if you cannot Get the public accounts committee up and running properly. Do you expect them to manage such a complex scheme as this is by investment program? It's only then fraudsters and crooks. Wait. We come and say again? Crooks? Yeah.
The problem is some people know that these are crooks, but they slip them through because the perks are great. When people have money that is not clean and they want to get into the CBI, the temptation is there for those in authority to override the screening.
But that argument you're using is an argument against the program.
No, it's not against the program. It's against those who are greedy and corrupt.
And then, of course, we spoke about the CBI as one aspect of creating capital, bringing capital to the country to invest, to improve the construction industry, and then long-term jobs in service industry, whether it's in tourism or in other areas that we are going to invest in. And finally, let me just say, we're also going to create create the development bank here in St. Vincent, because that's part of the problem that a lot of small businesses have. They don't have access to capital.
It's a legal way to circumvent visa controls that nations set up to screen people coming into their country. But it's also an opportunity for shady characters to mask their true identity and avoid suspicion as they travel around the globe.
Well. That's the NDP for you, ladies and gentlemen. Comment says crooks, shady characters. Friday say, going full speed ahead with the sale of passports. Now, again, I pose the question to you. Would you be comfortable with anyone around the world, Chinese, Afghan citizens, Pakistanis, etc., having the same rights as you do, not having one single tie to St. Vincent and Grenadines, voting just as you do, being able to run for office, being able to buy the same land as you want to, but never set one foot nor live in the country? Would you be comfortable? Would you be happy seeing 30,000 Chinese overnight becoming Vincentians altogether? Now, that's something you have to think about. And if that ain't bother you, think about the repercussions of blacklisting, losing visa-free access to countries, and losing corresponding banking relations, and staining the reputation of our good country and the value of our passport. Until tomorrow, take care, be blessed, and have a wonderful afternoon.
99.9 WEFM.